All right, Dave, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening. Due to the continued high infection rates associated with the coronavirus pandemic emergency, and has authorized by the New York State Bill number 50001, which was signed into law by the governor on September 2nd, 2021, this public hearing will be conducted via video conference. In addition, at a prior meeting, we amended the Planning Commission rules and procedures to allow us to conduct this hearing authorized by the Senate bill and to waive other requirements to allow us to proceed with this hearing, as I will now describe. Primarily, these waivers involve the requirement for in-person attendance at this hearing. The Senate bill permits us to hold this hearing by teleconference with no in-person attendance, allow applicants, presentations, and public testimony by teleconference. Written public comments, both in favor of or opposed to the application, to be submitted by email, mail, or other hand-delivered to the Office of Zoning at City Hall. The deadline to submit written comments was 5 p.m. Friday, October 15th, 2021. And the deadline to register to provide spoken comment was 12 noon today, Monday, October 18th, 2021. Although the conduct of this hearing has been altered in some of its normal procedures, and many things remain the same. All the normal notifications of this hearing, including mail notice, publication, and the posting of notice, were followed. A staff report has been prepared for each application, and a report, along with the application and other pertinent documents, has been presented to the commission members and posted online several days prior to tonight's hearing. All the normal timeframes of the application presentations, public comment in favor of or opposed to the application, and the applicant's rebuttal time will remain the same. Most importantly, the commission will hear, review, and make decisions about all applications with the same diligence, using the same standards as required by the zoning code. Before we begin, I would like to explain the ground rules for the hearing. When the case is called, the applicant will be allowed 15 minutes to present their case to the commission. The applications were posted on the city website at least a week ago and were available for public review. All applicants are advised to ensure that their applications were complete and include all information that they intend to present at tonight's meeting. As the application is presented, staff will, as reasonably as possible, identify and show pages of the application that the applicant is addressing in their presentation. Following our normal procedure, the commission members may ask applicant questions about the application. If the commission determines that there is substantial new evidence that has been presented to by the applicant during the hearing, either during the original or rebuttal testimony, the case will be adjourned and held over to the commission's next announced appointed hearing date in order to give the public an opportunity to review and comment on the new evidence. After completing all the hearings on tonight's agenda, the commission may elect to take a short break, which will be announced. After the hearing break, if any, the commission will commence deliberation and voting on the applications, except for any application that might have been adjourned to another meeting date. Please note that if your case is approved today, a written decision will be mailed to you within 15 business days, and this decision will inform you of the next steps to proceed in the application process. Oops, page here. Process. Before we begin tonight's first case, please note that we are all volunteers. We would like each of the commission members to confirm their presence for the purpose of a roll call by establishing a quorum for this hearing and introduce themselves and mention the quadrant in which they live.
Brad Flowers, South District.
Kim Harding, East District.
Eugenio Marlin, Northwest.
Richard Mauser, Southeast.
Milton Pichardo, Northeast.
Dave Watson, Southwest. I'm sorry, yes, Southwest. Now we may have the first case, please.
Okay. The first case is file number. Okay, first case is file number M003-21-22. The case type is a zoning map amendment. The address is 35 Shelbourne Road and 20 Elmerston Road. The request is to amend the zoning map by rezoning the properties at 35 Shelbourne Road and 20 Elmerston Road from an R1 low-density residential district to C2 community center district to facilitate the lot combination of the subject properties with 1737 Mount Hope Avenue, the demolition of a single-family dwelling and a commercial building, and the redevelopment of the site for the new construction of a one-story, 2,000 square foot, 2-lane drive-through restaurant with associated parking lot, and action that requires City Planning Commission with the recommendation to City Council.
I'm promoting the panelists or the applicants, but I'm having technical difficulty promoting Tim Faulkner. Tim, do you just mind signing off and signing back on for me?
Anna, do you want me to provide the oath for everyone at one time or do it individually?
Let's do it all at once.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for Tim to rejoin us.
All right, thank you.
Okay, let's see how this works. Tim, it looks like you now have, there you go, perfect. All right, Chairperson Watson, we've got everybody.
Okay, what I will now do is swear all of you in, and with your response, just give us your name and that you either agree or not agree with the affirmation. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, this is Betsy Brugg.
Thank you.
Yes, Stephanie Albright.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Yes, Mike McCracken.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes,
Yes.
Seth Waltz.
Yes, Tim Faulkner.
Yes. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Seth. Anyone else?
I think that's our team.
That's it. Okay.
Great.
You may begin.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Watson. Nice to see everyone. Well, I saw you all for a brief second. Now I see the application. So as you know, we have our whole team here tonight on a rezoning application. We are requesting rezoning of 2 parcels in connection with the proposed redevelopment of the property that's more commonly known as Row Photo on Mount Hope Avenue. We don't have a plan up, but the Row Photo building essentially sits, if you pull the plan up, it would probably be easy to follow here. Great. So what you see here is the corner of Elmerston and Mount Hope, which is, where the current Row Photo building sits. There's a parking lot, nope, right below that. Yep, right where the Taco Bell is shown, essentially, that area right there. The building above that is the Mavis Tire And that is a existing building, and actually the location and configuration of the property kind of impacts what the potential is for redevelopment of the Rowe property. So as you can see, it's kind of a small corner area. With the recent Mount Hope road improvement project, he lost some frontage and parking in the front. There's a parking lot in the back. That back parking lot, if you're familiar with the site, that is zoned R1. It's actually one of the parcels on the application. That's 20 Elmerston Road. You don't see the closest residence next to this site, but Mr. Rowe, I believe, owns that property. And then as you cross over to Shelbourne, Rowe also owns the property where you see this driveway and parking area. There's currently a residential type structure there. It is not used as a residence. It's been used in connection with Rowe Photo for storage and kind of his office and whatnot. So this is the area we're talking about. The total of the site, it's a relatively, we're talking about 3 kind of smaller parcels that together combine to, I believe, 0.76 acres in total. So we need all of that in order to have any type of viable redevelopment. Obviously, the frontage here is already zoned C2. The comprehensive plan really calls for this to be a mixed use area. We are in an area on the opposite side of Elmerston Road. We've got like a small commercial plaza with front yard parking and other commercial uses. The opposite side of Mount Hope Avenue is sort of mixed use. There are some residential neighbors nearby. Obviously, Elmerston and Shelbourne are primarily residential streets. We've got a couple other drive-through restaurants on the opposite side of Mount Hope. On the opposite side of Shelbourne, we've got commercial uses as well, and then obviously the Mavis Tire that we talked about. So this is a very mixed-use area. This particular portion of Mount Hope is heavily commercial, but very much, very closely connected to the adjacent residential streets. So we have been working diligently and closely with the neighbors and the public. We've had multiple meetings and been working with Bruce Mellon, Dan Hurley, Ron Farino, the entire Upper Mount Hope Neighborhood Association. We also we were asked to come and meet with the Mount Hope Business Association, which was a positive meeting. And we also met with the NBM6 Neighborhood Association. But most significantly, we've been working very closely with the Upper Mount Hope Association. There've been multiple meetings. They've asked us to make multiple changes. They've provided comments. Those comments have been incorporated into the project as much as we could to this particular point. I know that you have seen the correspondence that's come in from different interested members of the public. There have been some individual letters that have come in about the project. The Neighborhood Association did provide them. There's been, I think, several letters, but the most recent letter, I think, really expresses kind of the work that's been done to address their concerns. They still have some concerns. They'd like some traffic mitigation, not traffic mitigation, some speed bumps or raised sidewalks, things like that. They have some concerns still with noise. Seth Walsh is on. He's a noise consultant, an acoustical engineer, I believe is his title, that provided a study and has been available as a resource. We don't anticipate having any significant noise impact from the project, but certainly after this rezoning portion, should we be successful with the rezoning, we still have to go through site plan approval and special use permit approval for the drive-through. So keep that in mind. And then Tim, I probably should have introduced the whole team, but Tim is our traffic consultant. There was traffic analysis provided. We have been able to, I think, demonstrate that the road network is sufficient. We're not going to have any significant adverse impact on traffic. But again, we're very sensitive to the neighbor concerns, and we have been working closely, and we're pretty confident that we can work together to address all the issues that have been raised, and we'll continue to work with them. In terms of the rezoning itself, we're here for the rezoning of the 2 parcels. We did give you a pretty complete submission. I do believe that we are consistent with all of the applicable considerations for the rezoning. This board is not asked to grant an approval, but serves in an advisory role, and we are asking that you make a favorable recommendation for the rezoning from R1 to C2, which is consistent with the frontage, to allow the proposed redevelopment of the property. What you show on the plan, what we show here is essentially the proposed 2,000 square foot Taco Bell restaurant with a drive-through. The double drive-through is unique. I think it's worth pointing out that with COVID and the increase of people getting takeout and avoiding kind of contact and going into restaurants, that second line drive-through lane is a way to order ahead and come through with really minimal interaction with the staff. You just give your name and pick up your previously ordered food. So it's sort of an express way of picking things up with minimal contact. And that, I think, is kind of the application in a nutshell. We did, we have worked on the buffering, the screening, dealing with the trash removal, all of that type of stuff has been, they're all issues that we've discussed with the neighborhood. They've all been addressed in the application. And again, should we move forward, we will be dealing with them as part of the site plan and special use permit for the project. Would you like me to go through the criteria? I am happy to do that. Or if you have any particular questions about the project or the application, we're happy to answer questions about that too. I don't know, Chairman Watson, whether you have a preference. I do think that we've addressed the criteria in my letter of intent.
You still have plenty of time, so you can use it as you choose.
Okay, well, if there's anything that you would like to hear, we're happy to answer your questions. Yes, so I think that we are consistent with the comprehensive plan. This area has been called out for mixed use. The comprehensive plan calls this the neighborhood mixed use, and I believe that we are consistent with kind of the placemaking principles and design considerations as they are described. We have a quality project, quality materials, enhanced architecture. This is not a cookie cutter Taco Bell that's being proposed. We have addressed, we're including screening and landscaping, pedestrian accessibility, addressing pedestrian safety, and balancing the pedestrian experience with the needs of automobiles, as is called out by the comprehensive plan. Let's see, we have adequate infrastructure. The Mount Hope project was just recently done. We are using the existing curb cut that was installed as part of the Mount Hope improvement project. And I think this will, allow the entire project will facilitate the redevelopment of a very highly visible location on Mount Hope Avenue with a use that's consistent with the character of the neighborhood. The property is on an arterial road, but it is very much also in a neighborhood area. It's a very unique mix of factors and considerations that really, have been incorporated into the design so that we can really provide the optimal design for this project. And again, we are going to go through the site plan and special use permit process should we get past the rezoning. Let's see. So that is the first consideration is whether we're consistent with the comprehensive plan or any other adopted area plans. Compatibility with the present zoning and conforming uses of nearby properties and the character of the neighborhood. As I mentioned, the frontage is already zoned C2. We are in an area with other drive-through uses in close proximity to the University of Rochester, to the Lattimore Office Park. I think that's not too far from here. So we're very much consistent with the character of Mount Hope. And again, we have also addressed screening and other elements intended to really be protective and consistent with the residential neighborhood. And we are working with the residential neighborhood to minimize and avoid any kind of noise, light, and other types of impact that we might see related to any kind of commercial use on Mount Hope. In particular, they have asked about raised sidewalks and speed bumps, and the applicant is very much willing to work with the city, whatever the city is willing to have happen there, and the county DOT. We will be working together to provide any type of traffic calming that would be possible. Suitability of uses proposed by the zoning amendment for the property affected by the amendment. Again, the parking lot at 20 Elmerston is already a commercial use. It's already used in connection with Row Photo. We are next to Mavis Tire. We are along Mount Hope in a heavily commercial area. So I think that the uses that were proposed are appropriate. Again, keeping in mind that we are adjacent to residential and very much taking that into consideration and working with the neighborhood to ensure that the project is really protective of the quality of life of the neighbors. And the last criteria is whether there are public services and infrastructure suitable and adequate for the uses. And this is a mature, developed area, so we have all the necessary infrastructure and public services for the rezoning and commercial use of the property. So I think we meet all of the considerations for rezoning, and I think we've made a lot of progress to really provide a quality plan for this project, and we will continue to work with the neighbors to keep this a quality project. So if you have any questions for us, our whole team is here.
Great, thank you so much. Before we proceed, just to let you know that all the commissioners did visit the site, so let's have that for the record. Are there any questions for the applicant? Any questions for the, yes, go ahead, Richard.
I see Ms. Brugge talked about the screening and landscaping. And I'm just curious because I'm looking through the package submittal and I'm seeing some renderings, but I'm having a hard time getting oriented as to how those renderings correspond to where the building is on the site. It looks to me like there's a fence and landscaping on the northern kind of side of it, where the main pedestrian entrance is, facing the building opposite. But when you get to the corner of Elmerston and Mount Hope and then along Elmerston, it looks like it's just a strip of grass with all these cars lined up. And I would have expected, I was thinking that fence and everything would have been along Elmerston, because right now, let's face it, in a way, you're not really changing anything on those sites. I mean, it's still parking, there's a building there, commercial building, it's all kind of, it's really in a sense no different, except when I was there on Elmerston, actually there was some nice landscaping there that kind of made that parking entrance disappear. And the site lighting there is it's low to the ground and it looks kind of okay. And I see you're, putting in 25-foot poles everywhere, which is much more commercial looking. Mm-hmm. So I guess I would really like to hear more about just, what exactly that screening and landscaping is along Elmerston, where it really matters. I don't really care about the site interior there.
Mm-hmm.
So one
Stephanie,
thing
there.
Yeah, I'll jump in. So one thing to point out on some of the elevations and renderings that were provided were for just kind of as a sample only, and not project specific to show all of the detail yet, as this was the rezoning submittal, and we will have a full, rendering and elevations and landscape plan and everything with the site plan submittal. So you don't have the full detail to see all of that yet. On the western property line, there is existing white vinyl fence for a majority of the property line already. Our project will extend that a little bit and it'll reduce it to 4 feet high in the front yard. So there will be vinyl fencing and landscaping along the western edge. We have not prepared any landscaping plan to date. Like I said, we'll include that with the site plan package. As for along Elmerston, this is a very tight site. You can see that our driveway to the north by Mavis is on the property line. And then to the south, we've got the drive through there. So we have 1.7 feet or something between the curb line and the right of way line. So we don't have room to do nice, landscaping or fencing or whatever, unless it would be agreeable to the city to put things right of way between the right of way line and the sidewalk, which, our intent would be to work with the city as we develop that full site plan package to see what might be allowable to do as much as we can along Elmerston. As for some of that existing landscaping, the neighborhood group has pointed out that they really like the looks of that, some of the rocks and everything that are there. So we won't be able to keep it exactly as is, but we've been asked to try and kind of relocate and mimic that look in some of the other areas of the site. So again, we will look into that as we develop the full site plan package and landscape plan and try to incorporate all of that. Does that answer all of the questions that I think you just touched on?
How about that Walmart parking lighting?
Oh, the lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 25 feet is the kind of the prototypical that you would see at any Taco Bell. I don't know, that being said, we're certainly willing to work with the city. We have a lighting vendor online that's already done the photometrics. We can, if there's certain heights that the city wants to look at, we can see that you end up with, the lower you go, you can have, obviously you need more poles, which is one thing, but the kind of the uniformity of lighting can change too. So we have to look at kind of the pros and cons of all of that. And I don't know which lights might be more or less of a concern. If there's certain ones like that, the one that's shown on the radius of the drive-through, that would be most viewable from Elmerston. If we wanted to look at just, lowering that one, or we can certainly take any comments that you guys have and look at some of the lighting options.
Well, I would think you'd give consideration in that respect to the, to the western edge, where you are abutting the residential, and that the scale of things like that would become more residential. And then when you get out to Mount Hope, it can be more commercial in size. I think that would be a strategy that would make a lot of sense.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for the applicant?
I'll just add one little point, just because I'm looking at this plan here, but I think it's important for the Planning Commission to recognize that regardless of the specific project, that this area here that's currently zone C2 is actually just so limited for any type of commercial use and does require expansion. And this access out to Shelbourne is critical, because without it, this site really can't accommodate vehicular circulation or truck traffic of any kind.
Thank you, Betsy. Any other questions for the applicant?
And is that truck traffic, so you mentioned trucks, so that's like the delivery related to the operations of the use?
Yeah,
The
Stephanie can
delivery
speak more to
trucks-
that.
Yes, the delivery trucks will enter from Hope, and then they'll stop in front of the store and unload, and then they'll head north and exit to Shelbourne.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Any other comments? All right, hearing none. Thank you, applicant.
Thank you.
We will close this case. Maybe we have the next case, please.
No,
Yes, Tom?
do we have any public speakers
Oh,
on
I'm
this?
sorry.
Yes, the deadline to sign up
Yes,
to
Tom.
speak at this virtual hearing was today at 12 p.m. No person signed up to speak on this case. The deadline to provide written comment was Friday, October 15th at 5 p.m. Comment is included as an attachment to the staff report. Comment was sent to the Planning Commission, and comment was posted on the city's website. 7 comments from the public and a response from the applicant were received by the deadline. 1 comment was mistakenly not sent to the Planning Commission, so I will read it into the record now. The remaining 6 comments and the applicant's response was sent to the Planning Commission. All comments, including this one, is posted on the city's website. This letter is from Sharon Hurley, who resides at 40 Edgemont Road, and it reads as such. In regards to the Taco Bell planned at this address, I cannot see how one more fast food restaurant will do anything to improve the area that has been requested to build. I cannot find any pros to their idea, only cons. Another unsightly building with a drive-through, no less. More litter. Don't we have enough? Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's, etc. Noise. Would you like to live next to a drive-through window? Clientele. I'm sure you've read recently about people being shot or beat up in these fast food places. If Taco Bell thinks this is the perfect place to make a bundle of money because of the U of R and students, ask Wegmans. They do know when the students go home for vacation and the summer. If they think people that work for the U of R will come get lunch, think again. It's way too far down Mount Hope Avenue to walk, get food, and walk back in 30 minutes. And everyone knows you never give up your spot in the parking lot because it will not be there when you get back. I see no pros to building another fast food joint to devalue our property even more. Taco Bell will not be a welcome neighbor. I have lived in this neighborhood for 68 years, and I know writing this will make no difference. The city of Rochester does not care what their neighborhoods look like, just money that comes in the form of taxes. This is why no one wants to live in this city. Sincerely, Sharon Hurley.
The applicant has 5 minutes to rebut if they so choose.
I'll just touch on a few points because I do think we've seen the letters that have come in, and for the most part, concerns regarding noise and traffic have been addressed. As to whether this is desirable to have a drive-through, as the Planning Commission knows, this is a special permit use, which has a presumption of being a permitted use. It does require a separate approval for the drive-through. So should we succeed with the rezoning, we'll be back for that. I'm not going to address the comment about the clientele other than to say that Taco Bell has a lot of security and safety measures in place, and they are very, obviously, very good operators of their facilities. There's really no evidence of devaluation of property. And really, for the most part, we've had really good feedback from the neighborhood. Certainly people have their opinions, but I think that our approach has been to address the real concerns. This is a commercial corridor on Mount Hope. So we've really focused on addressing each and every one of the issues that the neighbors most impacted have raised. They brought up noise. That's why Seth is here tonight, because he did evaluate the noise. And it's actually very interesting. There's really great technology to minimize noise from drive-through operations. Some of the older fast food restaurants may not have that. Lighting, we've been focused on lighting. We've been focused on addressing traffic concerns, even though we're not generating an adverse impact. We are, working with the neighbors to address what is already a current traffic situation that they feel that they have there. So our focus has really been on addressing the issues and trying to ensure that this is a project that doesn't have any adverse impacts. And I don't know, Stephanie, if you want to add anything.
Not really anything more than is in the report, and it really does have to do with the technology they're going to use. And we're speaking to the noise of obviously the ordering situation, and it would be similar to somebody standing next to the car taking your order in person. It's not a squawk box yelling across the parking lot.
Okay, if that is all, we can move on to case number 2.
All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Case number 2. File number is M004-21-22. The case type is a zoning map amendment. The address is 36 Council Street. The request is to amend the zoning map by rezoning the vacant property at 35 Council Street from an R1 low-density residential district to an M1 industrial district to facilitate a forthcoming proposal for outdoor storage to serve Raymar Steel, a steel fabrication business, an action that is requiring City Planning Commission with the recommendation to City Council, and all present members, commissioners have visited the site.
Thank you, Mary. Now, who do we have presenting? I will swear them in.
It's Betsy Brugg again.
Oh, okay, that's anyone else, Betsy?
I think Ed Perone is on and Scott Fisk. Hopefully.
Oh, we got two there. There they are.
Okay.
All right, I will swear you all in, and then again, respond by giving us your name after your response. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, I do. It's Betsy.
I do, Scott Fisk. I do, Ed Perone.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Betsy. You may proceed.
Hey, let me just switch gears here. Okay, we are here again on a request for rezoning on behalf of Raymar Steel, which operates a steel fabrication business over on Portland Avenue. I'm not sure, I think there might be some new members of the commission, but you might remember seeing an application from Raymar maybe a year or two. I lost track of the date that the approval was granted, but they just underwent a $6.5 million expansion and new construction, and that was phase one. We're moving on to phase two. They have been operating their steel fabrication business on Portland Avenue since 1981. They have, just recently made a $6.5 million investment in what has already been, an operating business that employs, approximately 70 people. Business is great. They're doing some of the largest projects in the area. They have invested in staying in the city of Rochester and staying in this location, but it does require improvements and expansion of their facilities. It's, a process that's going to require multiple steps. So we're here kind of for the next step in that process. They have acquired much of the adjacent property to their facility. They have purchased and owned this property on Council Street. One of the parcels, I believe, was acquired from the city of Rochester. They need outdoor storage. They produce large steel for construction purposes. So material comes in, it gets processed, it goes out at different times to different sites. They need the outdoor storage area, primarily for trailers, equipment, and steel. So this is the area that is adjacent to their current parking lot. It is the only area that's currently available to expand. It does require rezoning. It will again require us to come back for a special use permit. Their existing facility is zoned M1, but the adjacent residential parcels, which are a mix of vacant land, by the way, the surrounding neighborhood, the perimeter is kind of a mix of, some vacant land, some houses, some vacant houses. It's just a mix over there. So what they're proposing is to use this area for their business operations. They desperately need to use this area. Having already been through the approval process on the first phase of the project, they're very aware of what the city is requiring in terms of screening and buffering. So they have proposed the same type of screening that they proposed kind of in the, I think it's the northeastern part of the site where they have a small outdoor storage area. So again, this project is very much consistent with the comprehensive plan. It supports a successful business being able to continue to operate and grow and employ people and stay in the city of Rochester. The area, again, has been called out in the comprehensive plan as, when there is a new code, it will be some type of it's a mixed use area that's been identified. They are the largest use on the block. They are a defining use in the neighborhood. Anybody who's been over there sees they operate a very they keep their property looking good. They are a productive, contributing business to the neighborhood, and they have fencing around the site. And if you've been over there, then you see what we're talking about expanding. So this area does extend into Council Street, which does have some homes. So again, we proposed to extend the fence and the screening, the landscape screening there. And that is sort of the application in a nutshell. Again, like the previous application, we are asking the Planning Commission for a favorable recommendation of rezoning so that we can get the property rezoned and then move forward with a special permit and site plan application for the actual outdoor storage use. We do conform again we do meet the criteria for rezoning map amendments. As I mentioned, we are consistent with the comprehensive plan. We are compatible with the present zoning and conforming uses of nearby property and the character of the neighborhood. This property is zoned R1, but it is adjacent to a large, long time manufacturing type use that really is, an anchor in the neighborhood. It's consistent with the character of the neighborhood. Screening and buffering are, proposed in order to ensure that there's any, minimal visual impact and minimal impact on, any of the nearby residents. The uses are appropriate for the property affected by the map amendment. Again, we have a long time established business that we are essentially just expanding. And again, we have, included screening and, I don't think this is the drawing that shows the screening. Which one is this? I think there's some other drawings in the package that do show the landscape screening. I don't see it on here.
It's the next plan,
Might be the next one.
next one. There you go.
And there is adequate infrastructure. There's really nothing in particular that's required to accommodate this particular expansion, but there is adequate infrastructure and services for the property and for the proposed zoning. We'd be happy to answer any questions. We're not proposing to build anything on this property at this time, so it's it's a relatively straightforward application, I would hope.
Thank you, Betsy.
You never know.
You never know.
Never know.
At this time, I'll ask the commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant? Any questions for the applicant? Yes, Richard?
Sure. You're reusing your fence. It's a nice fence, by the way. I assume you guys built it yourself. It is getting rusty and all that. You're planning on just moving it and all that? You're gonna paint it or whatever?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Rick, it's Corten steel. I think it was designed to be rusted.
Okay.
That's its final appearance.
Okay. Well, actually, it could explain why it's not completely rotted through then. Okay.
Right.
Good. Okay, and the pavement is porous pavement.
Yes, it is.
Okay. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Any other questions? I guess I have one quick one. The containers that were identified on the site, would those only be a single level rather than being stacked?
Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, they will. They will not be stacked.
And will there be more than two, or are you anticipating more than two, or is two the maximum?
There could be more. There could be more. I mean, we're being honest. We're going to try to keep this. It's going to be kind of low. It'll be, it won't be stacked, but there might be different, they are constantly moving material in and out.
Sure.
So,
Understand.
yeah.
All right. Again, just give. Yes, go ahead.
No, I do have one quick question.
Yeah,
Sure.
Will the container goes right into the property line? So obviously in a perfect world, we hope that the city continues to grow. And since this is a residential area, and I'm hoping that some of these lots will be occupied in the future. So my question becomes, are you going to have a setback in the on the
There is
lot?
there's a 10-foot buffer setback around the property line itself. And within that, there will be the arborvitae plants that will be
Plants,
within
okay,
10 feet.
perfect.
So 10 feet buffer.
Yep, so that's okay. That's exactly what I was going to propose. So thank you for that.
All right, thank you, Milton. Any other questions for the applicant? Any other questions? All right, hearing none. Mary, do we have any comments?
The deadline to sign up to speak at this virtual hearing was today at 12 p.m. No person signed up to speak on this case. The deadline to provide written comment was Friday, October 15th at 5 p.m. No person provided written comments on this case.
All right, that being said, we will close this case. Thank you very much, Betsy,
Thank you.
Scott, Ed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And nice to meet you, Mary. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Don't
to
meet
meet
anybody
you
in person
too. Nice to
anymore.
meet
So.
you too.
And to all, go Bills.
And then we'll have Mary, could you have read the next case, please?
Yes, the next case, number 3, file number is M005-2122. The case type is a special permit, and the address is 385-389 Webster Avenue. And the request is to reestablish a beauty salon, a non-conforming use in a vacant space of a non-conforming building operating from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. in action that's requiring City Planning Commission approval, and all present commissioners have visited this site.
All right, thank you, Mary. Is the applicant there? And we'll swear them in if they are. Ms. Scott, are you the applicant?
Hello, yes, I am.
Okay, I will swear you in. Is there anyone else that will be speaking?
No, it's just me.
Okay, I will swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, you may proceed, ma'am.
Hi, I'm trying to reopen a business in the 14609 area code. I've been in that area since 2009. I was in the Hunger Ford building, if anybody knows that, so I didn't realize that it was different codes to opening back up on street property. I guess you guys do have the information probably given to you, but I guess just trying to rezone my area to work. And I don't know. I don't know how this works, so I'm kind of a little lost.
Just feel free to take your time. Basically, we just want to know as a commission what your plans are. We have the staff report. Just anything else that you want us to be aware of.
Well, my business,
this business and getting it changed.
Okay. Well, my business, I specialize in children's hair care. That area is very vacant right now. Like I said, I moved from inside of a zoned commercial area into a storefront. That's what I'm trying to do as of now. I also haven't, I don't know, it's not in a report, but I've also received a grant through the SBA, and I'm already putting forth those fundings into making the area that I will have, I guess, more vibrant, because there's like absolutely nothing there. And I mean that as saying, regardless of the parking there is great. I don't have too many people really coming in and out to really park, because like I said, it's a hair salon and I cater to children. I put up cameras around just for safety wise. I don't know if I'm going too far or not going to where I should be right now. I'm waiting to actually, if I do receive this permit, therefore I can do the inside things that needs to be done to make it better, as far as the plumbing, the electricity. Like I said, my signage and stuff to go out in front to make it look habitable as a, you know, storefront. As far as my employees, I do have 2 other workers. They've been with me for the last 5 years. I don't know. As far as, I don't know, do I go to questions? You guys, I don't know how it works.
Okay, well, we can ask questions when you feel that
Okay.
you've heard enough that you need it. Obviously, you have a few people that are asking for your attention as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
At this time, are there any questions for the applicant? Any questions for the applicant?
Ms. Scott, are you renting this property?
Yes. I already, like I said, I didn't realize that it was a issue just me moving a commercial space into another property, even though it's a storefront. I've already did leave a deposit first month, and the landlord is working with me because she didn't realize either that those things will have to be done from changing, because it was an office space. So she didn't realize either that, you know, the zoning would have to be changed. And not only that, I put my own monies into the zoning, and yeah, it's a rental space.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah.
I have one quick one. It said in the staff report, the request is to operate from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Is that daily or just Wednesday through Saturday?
No, I would never be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. But the timing could be kind of different. Oh, I'm sorry.
Alana, I just wanted to rescue you real quick. I put that in, Dave, because I basically wanted to say what the district permits.
Yes.
So this low density district says if you're a commercial use in here, you can open at 6 and you can close at 9.
Right.
Okay.
I just kind of wanted to show what the flexibility could be, but
okay.
Alana,
Yeah.
it might be helpful, Alana, if you say more about how you do operate. I just wanted to.
And the days of the week that you operate, more specifically.
Do you have a sense, Alana, when you're going to be operating and when you're going to be open?
I don't know if she heard you.
I think I might have cut out for you.
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it was just a freeze. So.
This is the joy of Zoom. It's all right. Do you have a sense of what days of the week you're gonna be open and what times, perhaps?
I'm usually closed Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Which Saturdays and Sundays are my busiest days. That's because I do mostly kids and they're out of school on those days. I would never be open past 9 though. So I think those hours they're fine. But then again, what if something happens and someone has to stay a little past 9? I don't know if those hours are effective, but we don't come in until 8 a.m. So even though it's 6, I know the hours, but yeah.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
I have one question. I have one question. With beauty salons and barbershops, theoretically or historically, the days that hours of operation are Tuesday through Saturday.
Correct.
Sunday and Mondays are usually your 2 days in a row.
Correct.
So you are incorporating Sunday because you are doing children.
Correct.
And school is back in session, and the earliest they could probably get there would be maybe 4 or 5, which would limit your amount of children that you could do.
Right.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, well, that's like I said, during the week is one thing, and that's what I do. I can't have nobody there to a certain timing because, they have school. I keep all of that in mind also, but then that's why I need to be open on Sunday because that's the day that, they're able to get in. So that makes my schedule a little lenient throughout the week because I don't have to go to work at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning because my clients don't come in until a little late.
This is like a children's gallery or a children's salon.
I worked for Children's Gallery for 10 years. So it's not the Children's Gallery, but I've been on my own since 2009. But yeah, I worked with them for 10 years. Yeah. Yeah. So that's how I just operate. I don't take walk-ins, so my appointments are usually set. Like I said, I do have 2 other independent contractors that are there. I mean, just because we specialize in children, that doesn't mean we just do children's hair completely.
Right. So then the salon would be open on those days. You just wouldn't be there.
Correct. They'll still be, but then I will just have to let them know the guidelines of what times they have to be in and out also. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions for the applicant? Any other questions? Seeing none. Mary, do we have any comments?
The deadline to sign up to speak at this virtual hearing was today at 12 p.m. No person signed up to speak on this case. The deadline to provide written comments was Friday, October 15th at 5 p.m. and no persons provided.
Thank you so much. In that case, this case is closed. Thank you, Elena.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome. And may we have the next case, please, Mary?
Thank you.
Case number 4, file number M006-2122. Special permit is the type. The address is 240 East Ridge Road. The request is to establish a daycare center, an action requiring City Planning Commission approval. And all present commissioners have visited the site.
All right. And who do we have that will be presenting?
The applicant is Erica Ortiz.
Yeah, and I'm Carmen Torquia of Torquia Structural Engineering, and sitting with me here is Teresa Winship, also from my office, and I'm not sure if who else is on. Is Luke on? Do you know?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Luke, you're on. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on.
And Luca Torquia, he's with the Torquia Property Group, who's our client. So that's all 3 of us.
Okay, I will swear you all in. And again, after I swear you in, give us your response and your name after I do that. Do you solemnly affirm?
Could you also spell your names for us? That'd be great too.
Sure.
Just when he swears you in, and then you say,
Sure.
yes, or then give your name and spelling.
Okay.
Please.
All right, I will swear you in. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And you give us your full name and spell, please.
Yep. So it's Carmen, Carmine, Torquia, Torchia.
Thank you, Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
And I do as well. Teresa Winship, TERESA WINSHIP.
And I do as well. Luca Torquia, LUCA TORCHIA.
And is there a fourth person?
No.
No. Okay. You may proceed with your request.
Oh, thank you. So like we said, Carmen Torquia, Torquia Structural Engineering. We're here because the building that we are planning to renovate is located at 240 East Ridge Road, Rochester, New York, and it's zoned R1 in the R1 district. The total area of the building is 3,400 square feet. Currently, the building has 2 tenant spaces in it. each with their own private entrance. There's one space that's 1,250 square feet, which is located on the east side of the building. And that is occupied by a personal trainer. The remainder of the space used to be a dentist office, but they are no longer in there. So the reason we're here to present this application is because we would like to convert the dentist space into a small daycare. And the small daycare will also have a small play area, which is located, which side is it? On the west side of the building. It'll be fenced in, but there will not be any playground equipment, correct?
Correct.
Right, so no playground equipment. Let's see what else. The only minor changes that we have to do to the exterior are just enough to accommodate the 4 new doors that we're proposing. And by the way, each tenant space right now has currently its own entrance, its own separate entrance. And that's really pretty much it. Just here to for the change in use, right? Yeah. So yeah, you can see the building there. And you know, that's really pretty much the extent of the project.
All exterior work will match what
Yeah.
is existing.
Yeah.
All right, anything else you would like to share about your application?
We're showing page 10 right now, just so that people follow along in their hard copies.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it. That's, you know, whatever questions you have, we'll be glad to answer them.
All right, well, thank you so much. Any questions for the applicant?
Can you
I have
just
one. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
go ahead, Henry?
No, I was just going to ask about the play area. There's not going to be any equipment. Are you going to put any soft material on that lawn?
I'm not sure.
Currently it's lawn, which I think the preference is to maintain the lawn. Unless Luca, you know otherwise.
No, I don't, but if the tenant would like wood chips or anything like that, we would certainly do that. But for now, I think all she needed was lawn space.
Okay.
If there's a requirement for it, we can address it.
Commissioner Harding, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a question along similar lines. So would it be fair to state that the proposed play area is really just going to be a fenced in grass area, or is there, I guess, can you speak a little bit more to what that entails?
From what so basically it's an enclosed area for the kids to go outside, get some fresh air. There may be small, you know, there may be toys or whatever, but there's not going to be any typical playground equipment like you would see at a park or something like that.
Okay, so like no swing sets or
No swing set.
things like, okay, thank you very much.
Could you leave that picture up just for a second, please? This is Dave Watson. A question that I have is that the proposed door at the rear of the building, would that be used to access the playground, or would the one in front be used to access the playground?
So each classroom can have, there's a sidewalk that wraps the back of the building. And so there's two rooms that are providing care in the rear of the building. They will have direct access outside and can get to the play area from the sidewalk that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And the area in, let's see, would be the south side of the building. There's 2 doors there that can also access the play area directly from their classrooms.
Okay, I think I see that on the screen now. All right, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for the applicant? Any other questions? Hearing none. Mary, are there any comments that have come in since the deadline?
The deadline to sign up to speak at this virtual hearing was today at 12 p.m. No person signed up to speak on this case. The deadline to provide written comments were Friday, October 15th at 5 p.m. One comment from the public was received by the deadline, and this comment is included as an attachment to the staff report. It was sent to the Planning Commission and it was posted on the city's website.
All right. That being said, we will close this case and we will close this hearing. Let me poll the commissioners. Would you like to take about a 5-minute break? Or do you want to go right into, we'll take a 5-minute break. Get some water, stretch your legs. I believe I have about 8 minutes after 7. We will join back up at a quarter after. So we'll give you about 8 minutes to do what you need to do. So we'll be back. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.